Hi, I'm Cheyenne. This is the Book Mermaid. I cut my own hair for the first time and I'm very proud of myself. Moving on, this is my first quarter wrap up, so let's just get going. Didn't read much this quarter. No. If you haven't heard, the world is going to shit and I work in healthcare. So, oh boy. Okay, so the first book I actually read this quarter was The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill, and that is right here conveniently because I'm also reading it for the owls. Ah, look at that. So this has been all over BookTube because it is like the cutest comic probably in existence as far as I'm concerned, because look at Chamomile. Look at that dragon. Oh my god, I love it so much. It's a story about a lot of things. This comic follows a girl learning the art of tea dragons, and it's adorable and there's great representation and I love it, and I gave it 5 stars. The next book I read was Evelyn High by Meg Cabot. That was a reread from fucking forever ago. It is a story, actually I read it because I watched the Evelyn High Disney movie and then I decided to read the book because I really enjoyed the movie. Book was different than the movie and far different than I remembered, but I also read it years ago. So when was this published? 2005. So I likely read it around then. It's been a hot minute since I read it. If you don't know, the Evelyn High book, and I believe there's a comic series as well, is about a girl who figures out that Arthur has been reincarnated, Merlin has been reincarnated, the Lady of the Lake has been reincarnated, and trying to save them from destiny repeating itself. The darkness is gonna come get King Arthur or some shit like that. I will say that the Disney movie rewrote a lot of it and I like it a lot better than the actual book. I was like, oh, huh, when I finished the book. So the next book I finished was The Smoke Thief by Shayna Abe. Do I have that too? Oh no, it's in my room. So this is technically a smutty book. I picked it up not knowing that, not that there's a problem with that. I picked it up because it's about people who can turn into dragons. The smutty part was just a bonus, I guess. It was pretty good. Short. I really liked actually the dragon society that was in there. Super cool. I have the second book, not sure if I'm gonna continue on with the series or not. The next thing I read was also a reread, and that was another comic, and it was Always by Yumi Yamamoto, and it was illustrated by Danny Way, and I love this comic. I love it so much. It is a adult comic, not in the smutty kind of way, but more in the topics that are discussed kind of way, and it depicts a relationship that I think that a lot of women have been in or seen their friends in, and it's not usually depicted very well, and it was very well done and the art was amazing. Yumi's also a booktuber. She's also just a gem of a person, so I will link below where you can get it. It's a good time. Just cracked my knuckles. I'm not really sure if you could hear that, but it was an accident. That wasn't. I gave that one 5 stars. Next, I read Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is also a rather popular book on the booktube sphere. It is about a girl who has the powers of a truth witch, which are coveted and rare, and they're on the cusp of a war. So having a truth witch on your side would be ideal and probably game changing. So all these people are after her and she's I just want to hang out with my friends. And it was really, really, really good. I plan on continuing the series, the whole series. I just haven't yet. I believe, yeah, I own the audiobook for the second one, Wind Witch. I just haven't gotten around to reading it yet. I'm trying to finish the other series that I've started before this one and then go back in to finish it. So we'll see. We'll see. I also gave that one 5 stars. Oh, I have this one here. Aha. Oops. The next book I read was Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. This is a favorite of Diana from Paperback Jedis, and I have another one of her books, An Enchantment of Ravens. It's right there. I'm also reading that for the owls. That's her first book. This is her second. They're not in the same world, I don't think. This is a book about a girl who works in a library, and then one of the grimoires escapes and turns into a monster, and she takes it down, but then she's blamed for it kind of, and it's Is it like the most mind-blowing book ever written? No. Is it really fun? It's like the candy version of a fantasy book. I really enjoy it and I flew through it. I listened to the audiobook, but I still flew through it. This, highly recommend. Gave it 5 stars out of pure enjoyment. Always, Truth Witch, and Sorcery of Thorns were all read for Demonathon, and the next round of Demonathon is coming up, so I'll link the Twitter for that down below. It's super fun and like super intricate and just like amazing, and I love it. And if you haven't seen my TBR video for that, like I'm super proud of that, so you should also see that. I will link everything that I mentioned down below, but like it's a good time. But I also read for that readathon Every Heart a Doorway by Shyannengarland, and this, I just love the cover so much. So there's the cover. Super short, listen to it on audiobook. Also a very popular series on BookTube, but basically it's the Wayward Children series. It's a series of stories about kids who went to these magical realms and came back. Some of them are trying to get back, some of them are not. But it's basically like what happens after they get back. And there's a school for these wayward children. And I very much enjoy it. It's short and I loved it and it was super great. And I own the rest of them. This is another series I've started that I need to finish. I gave that 5 stars. Oh, hold on, gotta move my succulent. We're having a little trouble right now, but we'll figure it out. I think I overwatered it, or maybe I just like gave it too much sun or something. I don't know, but her name is Alendi, so there's that. Alendi was on top of Toil and Trouble, 15 Tales of Women in Witchcraft. It was edited by Jessica Spotswood and Tess Sharp. Oh, there's a cat right there. Didn't even notice. Cat. This is an anthology. It's a bunch of short stories about women in witchcraft, and it's like there was a few that I really, really enjoyed, and the others I just like kind of enjoyed, but there was none that I like had to force myself through at all. I will say there probably are quite a few trigger warnings in this, so look those up. One specifically that I can think of off the top of my head is sexual assault. I also gave this 5 stars. I also recommend the audiobook. Excuse me, Alendi, I have to put you back. There we go. The next one was not for Demonathon. The next book I read was for the Sisterhood of the Traveling Books book club, which is a book club I'm in with Yumi Yamamoto and Allie from Diagon Alley 394 and Yumi the Book Demon. This book, man. And I had some thoughts, quite a few. I want to remove the tabs, but also, cause like I don't like the look of tabs. I only tabbed it so I could quickly reference it for the live show, which I will also link down below. It's Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. So, me and Yumi liked it. Allie didn't. It's a book about a girl who basically can see ghosts and interact with them. And it's a very rare power, and she, through a series of circumstances, ends up getting to go to Yale University, and she ends up working for the Ninth House, which is a society that kind of like governs the other magical societies that are secret in Yale. And there is a lot of information about Yale's campus, about New England. And as someone who lives in New England, I very much enjoyed it. There's just, I kind of want to do an entire video series about this. It's just so intricate and like, oh God. I gave that 5 stars if that wasn't, get in there. That's what she said. I gave it 5 stars if that wasn't clear. All right. 3 more. I found out, I would never have found out this book existed if I didn't watch Chelsea Darling Reads. And she read, I believe, an arc of Docile by K.M. Sispara. Look, I suck. I know, I'm sorry. This is a book about, it's kind of like a dom-sub relationship, and it's in a world where like you accrue your family's debt on top of your own, and in order, like people can like pay for basically like enslavement, and it gets off like X amount of your like debt for X amount of years or whatever. And there's also this drug to make it easier called docile, and the main character in this becomes docile for a guy whose family makes docile, and it kind of goes off from there. Chelsea didn't care for this. I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. You kind of have to separate yourself from like, if this was happening in real life, then yes, I would be absolutely appalled, obviously, but because it's like a fantasy world, a science fiction world, it's a little bit different. But there's also so many good conversations that you can have about social class, about debt, about consent. Like, the first half of this book is just like a fun science fiction smutty book that like puts these two characters in a situation that like, you know, these things are going to happen. The second half is a bit deeper than that. It talks about like consent, about teaching, like becoming yourself, losing yourself in another person. It's just about like society and bringing down society and bringing down social norms, and just, it wasn't what I was expecting. And like, I would probably have given it 4 stars if I just hadn't, like, the enjoyment factor of it in general made me give it 5 stars. Fucking amazing. It's also got a trans author, so that's cool. Didn't know that when I picked it up. Okay, so the next book I read was, do I have that here? No, it'll be in my poetry collection in my bedroom. Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. Amanda Lovelace is my favorite poet, followed very closely by Nikita Gill. But I follow her on Twitter. She makes a bitch feel seen. I love her so much. It was my best friend Michelle who actually got me into it. She lent me her copy of The Princess Saves Herself in this one, and eventually Michelle ended up giving me that copy because I loved it so much and I was reading it so much. And now I own every book that Amanda has ever written. It's so good, and this is the first in a new series. The poems, phenomenal. Not my favorite of her work. It's still The Princess Saves Herself in this one, but all of her work is still like heartwarming and like you can really connect to it. And this one is through the scope and the lens of Cinderella. And actually this was a gift as well. Michelle pre-ordered it for me and I got it the day it came out. I wasn't able to afford it at that time, and she was super kind and sent it to me, which was really exciting. So Amanda also has a booktube channel, which I'll link down below. I gave, obviously, Break Your Glass Slippers 5 stars. The last book I read for the Bookie Trials Royal Weekender. I did a vlog, it's down below. It was a good weekend. I didn't finish both books that I was going to read. I did also start Alias Hook. Didn't finish it. I got about that far into it. That's another book, ignore that, but I got about that far into it. But I did finish the audiobook for 10,000 Doors of January. 10,000 Doors of January is about a girl named January who finds a door, and it's like a door to another realm. Her father collects like rare and unique items for this like rich dude, and in the why he's traveling, January like lives with the rich dude, but then she finds a magical door and it kind of goes off from there. This was so enjoyable. Like I was expecting to like it. I was figuring, oh, it's probably going to be like a 3-star book, 5-star book. Really enjoyed it. It's a fun book. I gave it 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. Do I think it's one of the best books ever written? Probably not. It's up there. It's a well written. It's well done. Mind-blowing? No. Really good? Yeah, 5 stars. Really enjoyed it, and I think that you would really enjoy it as well. It's also easy to follow, silly. You can like listen to the audiobook and like play a game on your phone, which is what I did for the most part. That's it for books that I read this quarter. Like I said, I didn't read much in terms of like amount of books and amount of pages for this quarter compared to others and myself in the past, but you know, that's where my reading life was. The world's going to shit and I work in healthcare and it's a stressful time. Thank you for watching my first quarter wrap up. It was a great time filming and also like thinking back about the books that I read. I really enjoyed Toil and Trouble. Like that was really good. And also I really want to reread Ninth House again, but I'm trying to get my physical TBR down to 0, which was like within my grasp until you bitches kept sending me shit. So now, oh, speaking of which, I'm gonna be doing a new thing that when I get things in the mail, any kinds of like unboxings or like, cause I'm also a Book of the Month subscriber by own non-spawn. I'm gonna be putting like the unboxings at the end of my videos. So I'm actually going to cut to that. But thank you for watching. Here's my Book of the Month unboxing. So this will go at the end of some sort of video. Not sure which one yet, but I am a Book of the Month subscriber, non-spawn, but you can get your first box for like $5 and then I get a free book if you use the code in my description. It's in the description of all my videos. So, but I figured I'd do a little, you know, a little unboxing for you. I know what I got, but you don't. Something's falling out as well with it. Book emoji pins, because it's my first box. And it looks like I have a bookmark that says this is the good part. And then the book is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So this, it's a contemporary book, contemporary romance book. And it's an early release, so I'm gonna be reading it soon, even though at the time that I'm filming this, it's in the middle of the Owls and this is not one of my books. Maybe I can switch them out. I'll think about it. So this is a book about a girl who is a romance author and her like college rival, I think, who is a literary fiction writer, and they're both like stumped on like what to do, like writer's block. So they end up at the same beach, and then I believe they start trying to write each other's genres. So I'm really excited about this. This is an early release. I can't remember. I'm gonna put it on the screen when it's actually released. At the time of filming this, it's like April 6th. So this is exciting, huh? Hey, it's not that big either. All right, I'm going to eat my cheesecake. That was an unboxing. Hope you liked it.